Have you ever felt like you are losing breath in a race where the finish line seems reserved only for those who are incredibly young and gifted? We live in a world that obsesses over speed, demanding that we find our purpose and reach the peak of our careers before we even turn 30. Why does society worship the genius of the 20-year-old while often ignoring the profound beauty and wisdom found in the process of reaching a late maturity? Today, we are not going to talk about how to run faster or how to beat the clock to achieve success before your peers find their way. Instead, we will explore why finishing late is not a failure, but a rare privilege and a profound psychological gift for those who take their time. We are decoding the art of late blooming, understanding that the most vibrant flowers often require the longest time to gather their strength and finally open. The illusion of the starting line creates a false sense of urgency, making us believe that if we do not start early, we will never finish. But what if your delay is actually a preparation? What if the time you spend wandering is actually the foundation for something much bigger and more enduring? Every soul has its own unique rhythm, a tempo that cannot be dictated by the expectations of a society that is constantly in a frantic hurry. Welcome to a journey into the psychology of the late bloomer, where we find that time is not an enemy, but a very powerful and wise ally. We are currently living in the era of early success, a culture that puts immense pressure on individuals to perform and achieve at an incredible pace. If you haven't found your passion by 18 or secured a stable career by 25, you are often labeled as a laggard or a failure. This cultural trap makes us feel that the clock is always ticking against us, creating a deep-seated anxiety that we are falling behind our peers. But the truth is, the pressure to succeed early is often a psychological cage that prevents us from experiencing the depth of natural, organic human growth. Your life's journey is not a sprint. It is a complex navigation through experiences that shape your character in ways that a quick win never could. We rush to tick boxes, to meet milestones, and to prove our worth to a world that barely pauses to even notice our most genuine efforts. By obsessing over the destination, we lose the richness of the process. We forget that the most profound insights often come from the longest detours. There is a specific kind of beauty in moving at your own speed, ignoring the noise of the crowd that demands you to be someone else. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Why should we, as part of nature, feel the need to bypass our own season of growth? The anxiety of being late is a heavy burden, but it is one we can choose to put down when we realize the value of maturity. Let us break free from the culture of the rush and step into the quiet, powerful space where our true potential is quietly waiting to bloom. To understand the late bloomer, we must look at the science of the human brain, which reveals a fascinating timeline of development and cognitive growth. Neuroscience tells us that the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for judgment and executive function, is often not fully developed until 25. For many people, this critical development happens even later, meaning their ability to navigate complex emotional and professional landscapes is still maturing well into adulthood. Late bloomers are not slow learners. They are individuals whose brains are taking the necessary time to build a more complex and stable operating system. They aren't just memorizing facts. They are integrating years of lived experience into a deeper understanding of how the world truly works and how they fit. This extended period of development allows for a more refined sense of self, leading to decisions that are based on long-term values rather than impulsive desires. When the brain matures later, it often develops a higher capacity for empathy and complex problem-solving because it has more diverse data to draw from. Think of it as a grand architectural project. A small house is built quickly, but a cathedral requires decades of patient labor to reach its height. The late bloomer's brain is a cathedral in progress, carefully aligning every stone of experience to support a structure that will eventually stand the test of time. This biological delay is a strategic advantage. It prevents the premature hardening of ideas, keeping the mind flexible and open to new possibilities much longer. By the time they reach their peak, they possess a mental resilience that is forged in the fire of patience and the clarity of late-stage development. The science is clear. There is no single deadline for the human mind. We are all on a different schedule for our most important cognitive breakthroughs. So, if you feel your mind is still evolving, embrace it. You are not late. You are simply ensuring that your foundation is solid and deep. Growth is a silent, internal process that doesn't always show on the outside until the moment it is ready to be revealed to the world. As we move forward, we begin to see that this scientific reality translates into a unique kind of intelligence that only comes with the passage of time. In psychology, we distinguish between two types of intelligence: fluid intelligence, which peaks early, and crystallized intelligence, which grows throughout our entire lives. Fluid intelligence is the ability to process new information and solve problems quickly. It is the raw speed of the young mind in action. But crystallized intelligence is the accumulation of knowledge, experience, and the ability to see patterns and connections that others might miss entirely in their haste. Late bloomers are the masters of crystallized intelligence. They don't win by being the fastest. They win by being the most perceptive and deeply insightful. They understand that a fine wine needs years in the cellar to develop its complex bouquet, and a profound mind requires decades to truly take shape. History is full of people like Ray Kroc, who started McDonald's in his 50s, or Vera Wang, who didn't enter the fashion industry until her 40s. These individuals didn't fail in their youth. They were simply gathering the necessary intelligence and experience to build something that would eventually change the entire world. Crystallized intelligence gives you the power of synthesis, the ability to combine disparate ideas into a single, powerful vision that is both unique and incredibly effective. It is the difference between knowing the what and understanding the why. Late bloomers possess a depth of why that provides them with a massive advantage. They see the long game. They are not distracted by temporary trends or the shallow rewards of immediate gratification that often tempt those who succeed too early. This type of wisdom is earned, not given. It is the result of thousands of small failures and quiet observations that eventually coalesce into a powerful truth. When a late bloomer finally steps into their power, they do so with a level of confidence and authenticity that is unshakable by external criticism or doubt. They have spent so much time exploring different paths that when they finally choose one, they know with absolute certainty that it is the right one. This is the privilege of the late start. You arrive at your destination with a map of the entire territory, not just the road you traveled. The late bloomer becomes a bridge between the energy of the future and the wisdom of the past, offering a grounded perspective to everyone around them. Their stories are richer, their advice is deeper, and their presence is more substantial because it is rooted in the reality of a life fully lived. They are the steady lights that guide us through the darkness, proving that the best version of ourselves is always worth the long and patient wait. Venting the pressure of early success brings another profound gift: the development of true resilience and a deep, abiding compassion for oneself and for others. Because you have endured the long winter of self-doubt and the feeling of being overlooked, you possess a strength that cannot be broken by future challenges. You have learned that failure is not a destination, but a necessary part of the seasoning process that makes your eventual success even more meaningful and sweet. You no longer need the validation of the crowd because you have found a quiet, internal source of worth that is independent of your social standing. This resilience is the foundation of a life lived with integrity. You are no longer driven by a fragile ego, but by a calm, settled spirit. You understand the struggles of others because you have walked that difficult path yourself. This creates a capacity for empathy that is rare and very valuable. Late blooming is a gift for those who are brave enough to follow their own internal compass, even when it points away from the popular and easy path. It takes courage to stay in the shadows while others are in the spotlight, trusting that your time will come when the conditions are finally perfect. The late bloomer knows that the years of waiting were not wasted. They were years of gathering, of preparing, and of becoming exactly who they needed to be. There is a profound sense of peace that comes with arriving late. You have nothing left to prove to anyone but yourself, and that is freedom. Your success is not a flash in the pan. It is a steady, glowing coal that will burn for a very long time, providing warmth to others. You are no longer afraid of the dark or the delay, for you have seen that life's most beautiful moments often happen in the quiet, late hours. Let your heart be still and your mind be patient. The special grace of the late bloomer is a gift that is uniquely and beautifully yours. The world does not only need the sudden flashes of lightning that vanish in a second, it needs the steady, reliable beacons that burn through the night. If you feel you are moving slower than those around you, do not be afraid. The flowers that are the most radiant often take the longest. This world needs people who can think deeply, who can feel the full spectrum of human pain and beauty, and who can act with true wisdom, and that person is you. Your path is not a mistake, and your timing is not a failure. You are becoming a masterpiece with every passing day. Trust the process of your own unfolding. Trust that every experience, no matter how small or painful, is a petal forming on the flower of your life. There is no competition in a garden, Every plant grows in its own time and contributes to the overall beauty of the entire living landscape. You are exactly where you need to be. Don't rush your soul's development for the sake of a clock that doesn't understand your unique and precious rhythm. Keep going with courage. Keep growing with grace. The world is waiting for your unique light to shine, and it will be worth every single second. Because you are not late. You are arriving at the perfect moment, fully prepared, fully realized, and ready to bloom in your own magnificent way.